All right, ready? Yes. Good afternoon and welcome to our weekly mayoral briefing today. I am Melissa Faith Payne and I serve as today's spokesperson for the City of Jackson. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the City Christmas Parade, and yes, we are going to keep talking about it. Last year we did not have a parade and people were so upset, so this year we do. So we certainly want people to know about it. The theme is Christmas around the world, and we are hoping to highlight all the different cultures, all the different religions that make up our community. With that, I want to bring up Chris Gray, who is over our constituent services, to share some updated information about that.
Good afternoon. Again, I am Chris Gray, Constituent Services Manager for the City of Jackson. This year's Christmas Parade is scheduled for December the 9th, Saturday, December the 9th, tentatively for 2 p.m. That time is subject to change. Per Mayor Lumumba's request, this year's holiday or Christmas Parade will look like the capital city of Jackson, which is the city of Soul. Jackson in the metro area is comprised of many races, ethnicities, cultures, and backgrounds. Therefore, this year, our holiday festivities and parade is themed as Christmas Around the World. It is multicultural and inclusive of all races, ethnicities, nationalities, cultures, religions, and etc. Not only are we engaging our community members, but also our city workers. The Office of Constituent Services and the parade committee decided to do unusual things regarding the parade and decorations. We thought it would be good to engage our talented city employees in all aspects of this holiday season, including decorating our city streets, and also the areas of City Hall and the City Hall building. And as we stated, the parade is Saturday, December the 9th, tentatively scheduled for 2 o'clock p.m. To sign up, please visit www.jacksonms.gov. Scroll down to key features, and the 2023 holiday parade application is on the front page of the city's website. I would like to remind all of our participants that we are not allowing any candies or trinkets to be thrown during the parade. Not any trinkets or candy to be thrown during the parade. This is in an effort to help keep our parade route clean and to not pollute our water systems. Again, we are asking for all religious organizations, sororities, fraternities, churches, anybody to sign up that is from a cultural standpoint. It's going to be totally different than our normal parade.
And you can also pick up an application here at City Hall. One thing is new is that link is available. It was not available before, so now you can just go online and fill out the application. So again, please sign up. Another thing that has been talked about in recent days and weeks is unpaid invoices here within the City of Jackson. It is not an issue that is new with this administration or any city or any administration. Because unpaid invoices have been a problem in the past, the administration has taken a lot of steps when it comes to solving this issue, not just in the last few days, but we have been proactive when it comes to this issue. We do have software that is in place within the city, and it allows those invoices to be tracked, and in most cases, it ensures payment in a timely fashion. But with any type of software, there are issues. And of course, there's also the issue of when it comes to human error. If the invoice is not put in, the invoice cannot be paid. But we do call this a step in the right direction. Also, we are working with experts when it comes to strengthening the procurement process here in the city of Jackson. We have partnered with Harvard and also with Bloomberg, and we actually have some actual Harvard fellows who are here in the city of Jackson who are working to make that process better and, most importantly, more efficient. And now, I also know that there has been discussion about 63 unpaid invoices. That number might be just a little less. We've actually had a chance to work with the directors of each of those departments here in the city to get an accurate understanding of what is happening with those invoices. And with that, I want to call the CFO, Fidelis Malembeka, up to the front to give some more information and more insight on that.
Good afternoon, Fidelis Malembeka, Chief Financial Officer for the City of Jackson. I would like to address some of the conversations that have happened over the last week and a half with respect to information that was provided that reflected outstanding invoices that the city has, but also from other correspondence that may have come from our Parks and Recreation Department. And I will start from there. I understand it was reported that the Department of Parks and Recreation had over 168 outstanding invoices. I will want to correct this particular issue, that it was not 168 outstanding invoices. The interim director for Parks and Recreation represented when he came into office that he had approximately 168 invoices that needed to be processed. But that did not represent all outstanding invoices. It was simply invoices that were in the queue that were left by the prior director of Parks and Recreation. So we'd like to make that correction for those that may have captured that incorrectly. The other issue is the document that was obtained that the City Council requested. I will say this, that even prior to the City Council's request to obtain a copy of outstanding invoices, we were diligently working on that. I had personally corresponded with departments requesting for them to share with us any invoices that were outstanding that were not reported in the system. And this had been an ongoing effort. So this was not discovered by the City Council's request. When that document was requested, we shared with the City Council that that was not an exhaustive list, and it had not been properly vetted by the Finance Department. Therefore, we could not represent that all that information was correct. That information proceeded with getting in a lot of views, all your hands, and was published. But again, what was in that document was outstanding invoices for the zoo. And we represented that that was an erroneous invoice. We knew that there was an issue. That's the reason why a payment had not been made. When you look at that document, there were 3 invoices listed for the zoo, which amounted to approximately $1.5 million. As we all know, that is an excessive amount. Our Department of Public Works did have a conversation with Jackson Water, and they determined that there is a leak because there is no way we could have an invoice of either $500,000 to $1.5 million. So our Public Works Department is working with Jackson Water to find a resolution on the leak that's at the zoo. Once all that is determined, we will thereafter have an appropriate amount. And so wanted to point that out. That's the reason why we stated that it was premature to actually release that information. What I had spoken to was needing to get the information from departments so that we understood what was still out there not in the system, right? So that we could put an action plan to cure any outstanding invoices that are made known to us. As you may know, under the state statute, invoices are not considered late until after 45 days. And also I will highlight that that is upon receipt of the actual invoice. We do have some vendors that we've found had issues either through transitions internally within their systems that they did not remit invoices to us on a timely manner. Their invoice might be dated a certain date, but again, for us, it is the date that we receive that begins the clock. I will say that we are making a commitment to resolve invoices within 30 days. Yes, we have 45 days, but our practice, our efforts are aimed towards resolving outstanding invoices within 30 days. And I will be available to answer any questions pertaining to that, but at this time I will yield to Melissa.
Really quickly, I want to call Robert Lee up to talk just a little bit more about the leak that is at the zoo. Forgive how he sounds. He says he sounds like a frog. There's a little congestion issue. Thanks for coming in today anyway.
Good afternoon. Looking at the water bill for the Jackson Zoo and talking with Jackson Water, what they determined is there is a leak on the zoo property on the zoo side of the meter. They can see flowing water running to an inlet near the rhinoceros area, but they've not been able to pin down exactly where that leak is coming from. Some of the records as far as utilities on the ground are old. They're having to try to locate the water lines a bit more old-fashioned as far as the detectors. In our discussions with Jackson Water, they can't really get us an accurate bill. Really, that should have been caught and then put in the system while we try to iron everything out. But we definitely are working with Jackson Water to get that leak resolved and we can get an accurate bill for the zoo. And I'll turn it over to Melissa.
Okay. All right, switching gears, we do have some more good news that is constantly coming out of JPD. We were happy to see our numbers continue to go up. With that, I'll turn it over to our police chief, Joseph Wade.
Good afternoon. First of all, I have about 4 announcements or statements. The first thing out of JPD is that we've created a new proactive unit within JPD. It is called the Action Unit. The Action Unit, anti-crime team in our neighborhoods. Anti-crime team in our neighborhoods. It will focus on guns, gangs, and drugs. Guns, gangs, and drugs. It will be proactive and not reactive. They're going through some initial training as to how we're going to strategically approach these issues in our community, but we all can agree that they are an issue in our community. But to balance it out, we have also created a community engagement unit, which will work with our faith-based community. It will work with our community groups and organizations, our businesses, and our school system. We have to make a footprint back in our school system. Now, I was proud to swear in 7 returning JPD officers on Friday. As you know, when I took the helm, we were at 221. With these new officers coming back to JPD, we're at 255 JPD officers. We're budgeted for 275. We will have that by the end of this year. We have a new academy class that will graduate on next Friday. We also have another academy class that's currently in the pre-hiring process, and we also still have JPD officers in line to return. That is new energy, that's a new synergy around JPD, and I'm just excited to be a part of it. Now, we did have an incident in North Jackson. I responded out there myself on Winchester, where an individual walked up on a porch of a home. It was captured on their Ring camera. This individual had a gun. He had it underneath his armpit, then he took it down, he just kept ringing the doorbell. Thank God no one was home, and he eventually left. But we pushed his picture out on social media and to the media to help identify who this person is. I don't know what his intentions were, but I'm sure they were bad intentions. So if you know this person, please give us that information. We'd like to find out why he did that. But a threat to that family is a threat to anyone else, so we do not want to normalize that type of behavior here in the city of Jackson. Thank you.
All right, and the last thing before we open it up for questions, the garbage contract. We first want to say that we appreciate the Jackson City Council making a forward movement when it comes to trash pickup in the city. Certainly no one wants a replay of what happened earlier this year. We do believe that the council may be operating a little bit outside the scope of their duties, but what we will say is that we do plan to have some updates on when it comes to trash later on this week. Also, we want to simply say the assumption by anyone that this administration is not working as equally hard, if not harder, to resolve that issue is simply false. To wrap that up, I would like to call our city attorney forward to just make a brief statement.
Tori Martin with the city attorney for the city of Jackson. Although our negotiations between the mayor and the city council have terminated, we are continuing with negotiations with the Department of Environmental Quality regarding any penalty that might be levied against the city of Jackson. And we are continuing to do our research with our litigation that is currently pending from Richards Disposal. In addition, as our public relations director stated, we will have an update later this week. We've been working overtime to make sure that we do not have a repeat of April of 2023, and so we look forward to bringing that update later this week.
And with that, we'll take a few questions, mostly not for me, but maybe for the people who took the podium, not me. Roz.
Could you tell us why the mayor is in China? What is he doing?
He is on an international economic development trip, and he is wrapping that up.
Anything specific?
Nope, that's about all I know about that.
Could I ask the chief something about if someone comes to your door?
Absolutely.
All right. Yes, Rosalind, what's the question?
You have the open carry law, but if someone comes to your door, that's disturbing. What do you suggest, and what does the law say, and what do you suggest?
Yes. Well, first of all, it's absolutely disturbing that someone would come to your front door with a gun. Any reasonable person would feel in fear of their life. So, of course, as you know, the Mississippi Council Doctrine, if you can articulate fear of your life or someone else's life, then you can act accordingly according to the Mississippi Council Doctrine. But we also have this huge issue, and something that I've continued to talk about, that's the Mississippi Open Carry Law. We have individuals that we see daily walking the streets of Jackson carrying weapons. And like I've stated before, that's not an issue in our rural parts of Mississippi, but it's a huge issue in the inner city of the city of Jackson. It's a great issue. And it's ironic that we're having this conversation because I met with the special agent in charge this morning with ATF. I met with the new U.S. attorney again this morning to talk about our gun issues here in the city of Jackson. And this is the bottom line. We have a huge availability and accessibility of guns in our community. We're facing the issue of ghost guns that don't have serial numbers that are being manufactured, and we have Glock switches that are making semi-automatics, fully automatic weapons. These are issues we have to deal with holistically as we address gun violence here in the city of Jackson. Excuse me.
So what do you suggest we do?
I suggest that, first of all, call law enforcement. But if you can articulate that you felt that your life was in danger, I recommend you act accordingly. Because you know when your life is in danger. I have Ring cameras on my home. If somebody showed up at my front door with a gun, I would feel endangered. I would call law enforcement, then I would probably act accordingly. But I went out to that home. I saw that video. It was absolutely disturbing to me. I don't know what his intentions were, but we're not going to normalize that behavior here in the city of Jackson.
Chief, I got a question. Chastain Middle School, there's a road around there. We got elections coming up tomorrow. Is there a plan at all to reroute the students so they can get there and vote?
That's not a conversation I've had with Jackson Public Schools. I'll be willing to entertain that conversation any way that we can assist them. I would definitely deploy my traffic unit, but I do not want to give the perception that we're in any type of way impacting people being able to go vote. And so I would be kind of cautious as to deploying a lot of law enforcement in that particular area because it's a very important election. We want people to get out and vote.
Quick follow, what would that man face? What charges could he face?
In reference to,
The man.
oh, yes. Yes. Well, you know what? We're trying to assess that because, first of all, we're going to look at the individual. We push his picture out to do facial recognition. We put it out to the media to find out who he is because if he's a convicted felon, then he's looking at some federal charges, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, but also being on those people's property. You know, and we have to also look at the trespassing law, which of course is a misdemeanor, but they did not know him. He was not expected to be a visitor of theirs and definitely not with a gun on their porch. All right. Anything else?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Will the mayor be in town to vote tomorrow?
The mayor will not be in town to vote. But the polls do open tomorrow at 7 a.m. They close at 7 p.m. Every vote counts. This is a very important election, and we do encourage everyone to please exercise your right to vote.
Is the mayor reached out to any more vendors as regarding the garbage RFP?
We will have more on that coming up in the next few days.
I've had trouble getting in contact with code enforcement.
Yes, Nathan?
Yes.
Yes, I got your information. I'm gonna talk to you after this.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
The gentleman said that there were 168 invoices at the beginning. How many are there now?
Mr. Malembeka?
Yes, I was actually referencing to what was picked up in his story when the interim director of Parks and Recreation mentioned in his memo that he had to process 168 invoices within his department. And so I mentioned that did not all consist of outstanding invoices. It was simply invoices that needed to be processed as part of the workflow. With respect to the number of outstanding invoices, we don't have a total count. What has happened is we've had 2 council meetings where bills were paid. We do have another one coming up tomorrow. So I would have to look at what gets processed, and then we can give you the count.
Do you believe there are more or less?
Probably less.
Any more questions? Thank you. Have a great day.
This morning was just Friday at 6:30.